Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Estate Uncensored Marketing Roundtable. We have a returning guest, Miss Michelle Berman. She's a legend, a myth. She's an absolute unicorn of a human being. She's about ready to pop with a beautiful baby boy here in the next couple of days, but she's ready to come out here and just drop hammer in regards to Instagram, how to do it both in the weeds and above the weeds, how to create good content. I have the evil bald ninja, Gene Volpe. We have Nick Sakis, the ever-thinking man. Not sinking, shrinking man.
Shrinking.
Yeah, we're having a lot of. Well, he does live in Florida, so there are a lot
sinking
of
today. He's sinking today. That's what we heard.
Yeah. We're gonna bring them in, but first, here's our countdown. Oh man, I'm excited for this show. This is going to be such an amazing opportunity to really drop some hammer. I've already taken notes in regards to kind of where we're going to be going with this thing. But first, I want to bring in Mr. Gene Volpe. How are you, brother?
Good. Does anybody else hear that ringing? Or is that just in my head? Is that just in my head?
Yeah. Those are just your other counterparts in your brain.
Greg McDizzle, how you doing today, buddy? Because you sound like crap.
I love you. Thank you for that. That's super awesome for you to say. That's why you're one of the co-hosts, always truthful and honest. Now, you know what? I've actually been really sick last couple of weeks, about the last 2 weeks. I mean, my throat's been killing me. I lost my voice essentially. Just felt like shit. And my girlfriend has the same thing. So today I actually can breathe through both of my nostrils and I can actually talk. So it's a good thing. So thank you, Gene, for your kind comments.
Of course, I would like to say to you 1 minute and 58 seconds before you to curse. That was good.
All right, what'd I say?
Shit.
See, now who cursed?
Does that even count?
I guess not. All right. I'll keep the counter going. That's fine. Keep going.
Okay. All right, Nick, what's up, brother? Nick Sakis, the ever-shrinking man out of Florida. How are you, bud?
As we were talking in the pre-show, I was saying everything. You guys can probably relate to this. You've had those days where just like everything you touch just breaks. That's where I'm at right now. I got 2 websites I'm launching, a couple ads I was running this morning. Like everything was just breaking. So I am happy to be on the show and taking a break from destruction.
Well, you know what? Now we get to create, not destroy, because we have a legend, Miss Michelle Berman. Guys, if you guys haven't seen the other shows that she's done with us, she is a speaker and author. She is all over with Inman. She's on every social media platform. She teaches people through her different programs on how to just dominate in social media, Instagram specifically. We're going to go over her 4-pillar program and a lot of other stuff. So guys, please take out your pen and paper. Let's take some notes. Michelle, welcome back. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I love being on this with you guys. You guys are fun. And I love that it's called Real Estate Uncensored because I get to be uncensored for the first time and unlike any other podcast. And one thing I got to laughingly say is, Greg, I've actually never spoken for Inman, but hopefully they hear this. No, isn't that crazy? However, I have had many people tell me that it's a very hard web, if you will, to get into. But once you're in sort of thing. So hopefully they'll hear this.
Yeah, they will, because I write for them every single week. And I'll tell you one thing, it is a hard nut to get into. Once you get into it, it is like you stay within their ecosystem and it's good. But let's get into some of this stuff. I want to talk about some, a lot of people when it comes to Instagram and stuff, and Michelle, we're going to give you the floor. Gene and Nick, of course, always jump in. General content versus custom content. Let's talk about, the organizations that have these little libraries that will allow you to just slap your face and your name up on it and be very generic, but it's very easy, so you don't have to think about it, versus doing very custom content, and where you see the differences are in regards to interaction, reaction, client retainment, client generation, and the whole 9 yards. So the floor is yours, my friend. Take it away.
Yeah, this is something, gosh, I'm so passionate about this. And I've been doing Instagram solely and working with, you guys, realtors, loan officers exclusively since 2018. But I've been doing this and creating content since 2014. And it's definitely evolved over the years, right? But one of the things that I struggle with the most right now is that people will call and they say, yeah, I work for such and such brokerage. We have this library we log into. It's all in there for us. It's all branded. All we have to do is just switch out the pictures for the listing, or we switch out, the phone number and the picture to be us. And they want that in their head. That's easy. And it makes it so that they can be consistent, which is like the Voldemort word, right? Like, don't say that word, consistency. But the problem with that is it's just white noise, right? And it does nothing for your branding, which Nick, I'm sure, will chime in and talk with us about more in addition to me. But your branding is so, so important. And having an identity outside of this canned content is ridiculous. Like, the importance of it is insane. And now I get the whole wanting it to be easy and the whole, I just want this to be something that I don't really have to think about. Like, my job is to sell real estate. I totally appreciate and understand, time-saving hacks, if you will. But what I can tell anybody who's listening to this, and hopefully you guys all take this to heart, that's actually hurting you. It's not doing you any good at all. It's literally just making you look, in my opinion, and as a consumer, lazy, and somebody who's not really doing it with the intent to generate business off of it. You're doing it to, stay somewhat relevant, if you will, meaning you have to have the social platforms, but you're not doing anything to make yourself stand out. You're certainly not doing anything to help your audience feel more connected to you or create this really strong virtual, I call it handshake between you and them. So easy is great. Is it worth doing it the easy way? In my opinion, I would say no.
So easy versus hard. What would be the distinguishing difference between that? So easy, like you just talked about, cut, paste, post, right? Hard would be maybe reading an article on Inman or Yahoo News or somewhere in the, abc.com, universe, and then putting your opinion to it. What would be hard in what you found for most people's opinions?
Yeah, so I would say hard is not looking up articles. I would say hard is taking the time to have a strategy and to build something before you create and start putting content out, right? So having the wherewithal to say, this is really important to me. I really want to connect authentically with my audience. So I need to go through what I call the value series funnel, right? Who's my ideal client? Or even before that, what's my niche, right? Just saying I sell real estate or work with first-time home buyers is not the answer. And I know we've talked about that before. Really getting into the weeds of that. Like, who are you? Who do you really, really want to serve? And what is the avatar of that person? And I was on a podcast yesterday with a good friend of yours, Craig, and his name is Toby. And Toby was saying, well, okay, let's talk about this avatar for me, right? So my ideal client would be a $1.8 million buyer who likes golf and his name is Mike, right? And so if that's the case for you, right, and you can go into the weeds of that person, then taking the time to say, okay, what are the pain points of this guy, Mike? And then how can I create content to produce on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to put it, that makes people stop and read that and be like, I'm like Mike, or I am like that person that you just described. So can you help me? Right. And then on top of that, making it hard, right, means putting the work in to create the branding and to really develop content that is your personality and is you. Right. And I always use myself as an example and say, if you see my Instagram Power Method logo, I want you to think about me. And if you see me, I want you to think about my Instagram Power Method logo. And I want the logo itself to create feeling and emotion in somebody, right? And I think we may have even used this example before, but like when you think of the Nike logo, right, that elicits emotion from people. At least for me as an athlete, when I think of the Nike logo, I think of hard work. I think of insane amount of hours in the pool over the last several years of my life. I think of fitness gear. I think of the water bottles that we had that had a big Nike logo on it that I used to take to class every day when I was in college. Like, it literally creates memories and feelings for me. And I think that that's what you have to take the time to build, right? Which I know Nick is going to agree with me because that's part of what he talks about is branding. But without that, we are just another Keller Williams agent, or we're just another EXP agent who is trying to sell real estate instead of, no, I am Michelle Berman and that is who people know me as, but I have this product, the Instagram Power Method. So it becomes like that secondary thing. But when they think of me, they think of, oh, she does this, 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 and this, and this. Right? Does that make sense, Greg?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And I love something you put in there is creating memories and feelings. That's something not a lot of people think about when it comes to real estate and social media, whichever the idiocracy about that thing is the fact that people are like, yeah, social media, I'm just going to brand myself and push everything out there. But it's social, which is emotions and feelings and memories, and then media, marketing. So Nick and Gene, jump in on this. I want to get you guys' opinions because Michelle just dropped hammer on us right here. And I'm literally taking notes when you guys are up on full screen. I'm sitting here taking notes. So Nick and Gene, who wants to jump in on this?
Good, Nikolai.
All right, man. So when it comes to, Michelle said something that was really interesting, right? As far as making hard choices, I think the hard choice is having a perspective, right? What is your perspective? What is your take on what is going on? So like if I was to give you like a gold nugget of a tip on how to create unique content right away, it would be just surveying what's going on in the market and giving your unique perspective about what's going on. So that could be anything from, like Greg said, taking a KCM article, and there's nothing, not throwing any stones or anything in KCM, but like that's the perfect example of what we're talking about here of regurgitated content that I can't tell if my brand is on it versus somebody else, right? It's the same article.
Nick, what is KCM? Just so everybody knows.
Keeping Current Matters.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So like those blog type services, it's great for filler content. We still use it. It's not bad. However, if that's your only strategy, you're going to lose because there's hundreds of thousands of other agents putting their brand on the same thing. And it's one perspective. It's not yours. So if you were to just start identifying things in your market, Michelle talks about 4 pillars. We use 3 pillars. So I take everything into consideration when it comes to video and when it comes to content as to what's evergreen. So what are things that are going to be relevant now and then 5 years from now? That's typically all the boring real estate stuff that agents freak out about or focus on 100%. Like I need to start a YouTube channel and have 27 videos about the process of escrow or down payment assistance or all the stuff that hasn't changed since 1992.
Agents freak out about or focus on 100%.
Market updates.
YouTube channel
and have to a stadium. Reverb. Yeah, so like the market update video, I think people freak out about the market update video. Should you have it? Yeah. But you should also have content based around who you are in your market and your perspective. So like Greg talked about this before. One of the best things you can do is local content around your farm. And he talked about, he's got a new dog. If you follow him on Instagram, you see he's posting all the time with this new dog. It's something that's in his life now, and he's sharing content around it, which is really cool. So if you're an agent and you just got a new dog, go to all the best dog parks that you're already going to and make content around that and tell people why this dog park is the best in correlation to other subdivisions that are around here and spin it into, real estate at the end. So it's unique perspective about you and your brand and your voice is what's going to help you stand out. And like Michelle said, it's building a relationship with people. Like gone are the days where you can just turn on a Facebook ad for lead generation and just get people falling into your cart or falling into your, auto drip sequence. And then they just show up one day and say, I'm ready to buy a house. Like people need to build a relationship with you. So you should have some sort of awareness going on in your market when it comes to branding so that people get to know who you are.
I love that. We talked about, and I'm still focusing on Nick, my apologies. Michelle, we talked about Nick's 3, pillars, but you have a unique thing with your 4, and I want to see the difference between the 2 of you. Gene, jump in if you want to say anything, but you have what you call it your value series, right?
Yep.
And we were going over it, and I told everybody to shut up behind the scenes. I'm like, guys, shut up. We got to get this on air. This is way too good of content. And Michelle's like, dang it, that was really good.
Yeah.
So Michelle, walk us down the 4 pillars of the value series. And then I want you and Nick to banter a little bit and kind of see the difference of mindsets and kind of how people can relate to, and kind of they can cherry pick from each one of you guys, just so that they can make their own Instagram and Facebook and social media the most popular they can possibly be.
Yeah, so I don't think what Nick said is wrong at all. I actually think it's totally 100% spot on. I think the thing is it's 3 and it looks, in my opinion, maybe a little bit higher off the ground. So I use like the airplane example, right? It's more 30,000 feet off the ground, Whereas for me, because that's what I specialize in is Instagram exclusively, I go maybe more like 10,000 feet off the ground, even lower than that in some cases. So it's just Nick's is a little bit more broad, in my opinion, for all social media strategy as a whole, which is everybody should have a strategy as a whole. And then when you get into Instagram specifically, I break it down into 4 pillar pieces. So the 4 pillar pieces on Instagram specifically, value series being the first one. And I think that if we have time, Greg, I think we should go into that pretty hard today. I think people would really benefit from that.
Sure.
But that value series is like, in my opinion, the Mike who wants to buy a $1.8 million house on a golf course. It's creating content to ultimately solve the Mike problems of the world on or in your content and putting it on Instagram so that another Mike comes across it and sees that you just either addressed or solved a problem related to somebody who's interested in that or in buying a home like that. And then you get to fish them out. So we'll talk about value series in depth. But the avatar for that individual, which we'll come back to, is this is a real estate agent who wants to serve people who are into golf because he loves golf. So the avatar that we made was Mike, $1.8 million house on a golf course, right? Now, the second piece of pillar content is testimonials. And we talked about this a little bit, but testimonials have definitely transitioned into how we start producing them or how we do them in a more effective way these days, right? So gone are the days, to use Nick's fun term, I love saying that, but gone are the days of taking a screenshot of your Zillow review with the 5 green stars and posting that on Instagram as content. Gone are the days in many cases of the stagnant testimonial in a template, right? So like the 3 to 5 sentences from the individual that wrote something for you, right? So we got to get and elevate our testimonials a little bit to be more, video testimonials with your clients, video testimonials with your vendor partners, people that are working with you, even going a little bit farther than that and telling stories, right? So you get the picture of the key with your buyers at closing and you use that instead of just saying congrats to John and Mary on buying your house. Totally flip that upside down and start talking about the story of John and Mary. How did they find you? What was the situation like? Because if everyone wants to just post, oh my gosh, this was this beautiful transaction, we closed in 24 days, I'm so excited for them, I call bullshit, because there was so much more that went into that scenario and story than just that, right? So testimonials have definitely leveled up. And if you're not leveling up the way you're doing them, you're doing it wrong. And then the third type of content, or the third of the 4 pillars, is listing days, right? So showcasing transactional history, listing, open house, pending, sold, under contract, that type of thing. And I think the thing with this is that what I struggle with seeing is agents think that they have to showcase every single transaction they're doing, right? So there's like listing day. There's like 5 of them in a row. And I think I may have said this on a show prior, but all that does to your consumer who's looking at your content is they will sit there and say to themselves, cool. So, Nick makes a lot of money and sells a lot of houses. Like, awesome. Like, that doesn't do anything for them as people consuming your content. It just kind of makes you as the producer of content look like you just make a lot of money and sell a lot of houses, and that's all you really care about. So the way I teach clients and students how to do it is to really create it as a pillar day. Now, when that day happens in your custom content calendar that we make, you can then showcase a carousel post, right? Where you have 10 pictures and maybe you have 5 new listings and 2 houses that are, under contract and something that sold last week. And you create one post with all of that in one. So you're really allowing for the rest of the pillars to kind of take the center stage. And then the 4th pillar piece, which is my favorite, is lifestyle content, right? So this is just photos from our camera roll. This is you out in San Francisco on the beach with your dog, Greg. I just posted a picture the other day on Instagram of my husband and his dad. They had just gone, they just got home from Alaska and did this crazy fishing trip and caught an ungodly amount of salmon. And so I showcased that because I had been posting it in my stories a lot. And people kept asking me, like, how much, fish did Dave catch? So I posted a picture of it, just telling the story of this experience, because at the end of the day, that's my husband and that's a huge part of my life. And I showcase my dogs, my pregnancy journey, all of these things, because to your point earlier, Greg, right? We care about who you are as a person. And we want to know at the end of the day, truthfully, who am I hiring, right? Because if I'm going to sit in the car with you all day long to go look at houses, you better be fun, and I better see myself being able to enjoy that day. And that lifestyle content is how we create that. So I can I can see and start to conversate with myself internally, if you will, to say, yeah, I'd give Greg my money to help me buy a house, because I could totally see myself sitting in the car with him all day, driving up and down the California coast, trying to find us a house. And that's what that piece of content is supposed to do. So I would almost beg to say that piece of content or that pillar should be first and foremost, and then the other three become not secondary by any means, but less noisy than lifestyle content.
I love all of that stuff. I by the way, just went over to your Instagram, man. Your husband and his father, dude, they have those are some big fish. I gotta tell you, some big damn fish.
We have
How
a
do
lot
they
of
taste?
salmon in our freezer.
Hey, how do they taste?
We've had halibut and rockfish. We haven't had any salmon yet.
Oh
So
my God.
I'll tell you when we eat it. The rockfish was bomb. I have never had rockfish, and it was very, very good.
Sweet.
But I can't eat more than one piece of fish of that kind a week. I can have as much salmon as I want a week, but just because of being pregnant, you're only allowed like a certain amount. So.
And that's another storyline that you can really get into, being pregnant and everything else. You've owned that storyline quite a bit. And a lot of women who either have been, are, or will be, are taking notes and going like, girl, I feel you. I remember when I was pregnant. Or like, you know what? My doctor told me the same thing. I'm 6 weeks away from birth. Or the young gals who are out there going, I want to start a family. And they're like, oh, I shouldn't eat that, or I should eat this, or, you know, if I'm going to follow Michelle because of what she said over here, has a whole new storyline, whole new people, a group of people you can start speaking to about a life path journey that you're on. Gene, you freak me out when you don't fucking talk. It's only been 21 minutes and 51 seconds since I cussed. So I broke my own record.
Nicely done, actually. You're right about that. Now, listen, these guys are tearing it up. I'll jump in where needed. I haven't been needed yet.
Okay, well, let's talk about this a little bit, Michelle, Nick, and Gene. What do you say on Instagram and Facebook to be seen? Is it you? I mean, when I first started the podcast, to be really kind of jump this podcast, I was cussing a lot, and I was kind of bouncing around like a drunk teenage girl, and it got people's attention. Now that I've gotten longer in the tooth, you may say, you know, I've kind of mellowed out a little bit. But for someone who wants to get in going, but they don't want to curse all the time like I did or something like that, what do you say? How do you say it, guys? I mean, help me understand this a little bit. Michelle, let's go with you, and then go to Nick, and then we'll jump to Gene.
Yeah. What do you say? The answer falls back into what I've kind of addressed briefly here thus far is stop overthinking it first and foremost. Like everyone who's listening to this, because it's Real Estate Uncensored and because you love Greg, and you know that Greg curses a lot, stop fucking overthinking. God damn it. Like it's so unnecessary. And it's people who sit there and think, oh my gosh, my content's not perfect. I'm not going to post. I'm not going to post. I'm not going to post. Like rip the effing Band-Aid off and produce content, right? Because you know what kind of content to make. Nick and I both just gave you guys like a ton of information to go start producing. And as far as overthinking it, right, you're only doing yourself a disservice in that. There will never be perfect content, right? Like, oh my God, my branding is so perfect. I'm so ready to go, right? I can tell you, like, I have evolved even my Instagram over the last 7 years. Like, if you go to my Instagram on the screen and you scroll back, you will see the evolution of what that content looks like. Now, how did that evolution occur? It occurred because I finally started producing, regardless of whether or not I was so in love with it or not. And I started figuring out, one, what my audience really liked, two, what my audience leaned towards enjoying more than others, right? So I started to pick up on that. And then I personally, on my own branding, I would say I got more high class, if you will, from when I first started, right? So it became more of a luxury, higher level brand. I have several clients who call my company like the Rolls Royce of Instagram marketing just because of how we do things. So I wanted branding to kind of match that. But that doesn't happen when you're first starting. Like I have so many clients who will take months and months to produce content because they're like, well, I'm still working on this and I'm still working on this. And I'm like, you've totally missed the point of what this is supposed to be about, because the only way for you to truly evolve and to truly make your content better and better over time is to start producing it in the fucking first place.
No, it's very true. I posted a photo of me cutting the shit out of my fingers. Like there's blood flowing out of my hand. It had like 1,500 views on it. I'm like, damn, you guys are sick motherfuckers, aren't you? Okay.
People like to see you in pain. That's why.
That's why you're still on the show, Gene. You just watch me just wallow in mud as I sink.
I thought you were going to say because I make you be in pain.
Well, there's that too. Nick and Gene, guys, weigh in on that because I love what Michelle just said, and I have an opinion I wrote down here. But gentlemen, jump in. I want to get your thoughts on this. Anytime, motherfuckers.
Go, Gene, go, buddy. You haven't done the whole show.
It was like it's old standoff there. Who's going to shoot first? You listen. I've been preaching this for a long time. I think you know how I feel about it, right? I think the cool part about all the social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is like to me it's a science project, right? So I come from the IT world, big data, and what I always liked about that job was that it didn't matter what hour of the day you were in, you were going to find a new problem. There was always something different that popped up. Everything, it was so complex, and what we did was so difficult for most people to understand and for people to manage that there were millions of new problems every year. And to me, that was exciting. It wasn't like, and I'm not knocking anybody that works on an assembly line, but that to me would be a redundant thing. Just redoing the same thing over and over again. I would get bored of that quick and I would probably run, right? So I need, in my world, I need things to be changing up at a rapid pace, and I love to be ahead of that, right? So for social media is the same way. There's so many platforms, so many algorithms. They work differently, advertising platforms, right? You can spend money 8 ways till Sunday, a million ways till Sunday, really. And I think what's cool about it is that my engagement and what my people want is different than Greg's, is different than Michelle's, is different than Nick's. And I don't really know what that is until I get in and mix it up. So this going back to the science project analogy, it's like when people say, should I try X? I go, yeah. Like, it doesn't even matter what X is. Yes, you should try it because you might find out that the people that are watching you want that from you. How do you figure that out? Engagement, reaction, interaction, boost on the post, right? Like there's a lot of sharing. So there's a lot of ways to actually watch what people want from you. And then you go back and recreate it. So, and Greg, we've been talking about this for 100 years, but it's like the stuff you think is going to go viral always falls on its face. And the stuff you think is stupid goes viral, but always gets the most reaction. So how do you know that until you do it? So what I always say to people is be your own professor, man. Do the science project, throw it up. There's so many things that I put up where I'm like, my wife will take a picture of me and I'll go, oh my God, I hate that angle of me. But that'll end up being a picture that gets the most reaction, whether it be people telling me I'm ugly and they hate the angle, or some people going, damn, you're a handsome man. It always ends up being there you go. Say exactly. I hate that picture. Right. But it is what it is, right? That'll get reaction. It gets reactions out of you every single time. So for me, it's perfectly fine to use that for my social media. It's perfectly fine to use that here because we get a kick out of it. That's how I roll. But I just like the science project behind it. Everything's changing. It's constantly moving. The algorithms are learning. They're changing every single minute of the day. There's so many things to take on here. And I think Michelle's right. Like, stop overthinking it. I don't think Michelle's right. I know she's right. Stop overthinking it. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own head. Start posting. And here's the other thing you'll figure out too. The shit you start out with today is going to look crappy because you don't know how to use the camera the right way, because the lighting's off, but the reality of it is the more you do it and the quicker you do it, the faster you'll learn and the faster it will look more professional. So why wait in 4 years to do it? Just start now. And by 6 months out, people will be going, damn, you are the Rolls Royce of the Instagram, right? Like, let's get to that. You can't get to that if you don't try. So that's right.
But Gene, I don't want to look bad in front of my clients.
Greg, I know enough about you to know that you look bad in front of them in person. So let's just get it out on social media, right? Like, you are who you are. So, and I was just kidding with you, of course. I know. But really, like, going back. So people say that all the time. Like, how do you edit your videos? Well, I don't edit my videos. You don't edit out the dead air and the ums? Why would I do that? That's who I am in front of you, dude. If I slip and say shit and my mother-in-law backhands me like there's a nun in the room, I go, oh, my fault. It's just who I am. Sorry. So you got to put yourself out there. Make it as easy as possible for yourself. If you look like a scumbag in front of your clients, then don't try to hide it on your Instagram. Like, let's get out of the way, right? Let's get that out of the way. I want people to look at me and go, I like this guy's, brand of scumbag. Let's bring him in. So I'm not worried about that. Don't worry about your hair. Don't worry about your tick. If you notice, if you watch me, I'm constantly cracking my neck. I do that when I'm with clients. I do that when I'm sitting in class. I do that when I'm in church. I do it when it's who I am. I can't help it. My kids will say it. Like, you're always bending your neck. I go, yeah, because I feel like I fell out of a plane and landed on my head. I just got to crack my neck. That's who I am. So too bad. Too bad if you don't like it.
I think that, like, just before, because I want Nate to be able to chime in too, but I want to piggyback off of Gene so much right there, because who you are on social media, I think you guys have all heard this, right? People say social media versus reality, and people will literally post like social media picture and then you swipe right and then like the reality picture. When did that start becoming like a thing, right? Why don't we just be who we are anyway? Like, I curse. Yes, I'm married to a retired Green Beret. Like, he was in the military for 7 years. Like, he curses a lot. Like, get over it, you know? My mom hates it. She's like, why are you saying fuck? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. Like, it just came out of my mouth. But like, it was like one of those things that, for me, being 100% authentically me is so, so important. Am I going to show up to all my meetings as professional as I can? Of course I am. Like, that's just my style. But like the other day, for example, I had a meeting with a couple of clients here locally who they are awesome clients. They know me very, very well. And they both texted me beforehand and they're like, you should come and wear one of your husband's shirts because I know that none of your clothes fit anymore. So like, you might as well make it fun. We'll take a picture. So I showed up in wearing one of my husband's workout shirts that said like guts and glory or something on the back of it. And I posted it in stories. People were like blowing my phone up saying how when they were pregnant, all they did was wear their husband's clothes. Like, they never wanted to buy maternity clothes because all the maternity clothes back then were ugly. And they were like, my mom even said something. She's like, yeah, this is now, why I only wear your dad's like extra large dress shirts everywhere with jeans. But it was like, again, it's just the reality of life is what people connect to more than trying to be this perfect, always super overly branded photo shoot version of yourself. Because if that's not you in real life, and I then decide to reach out to you to hire you, I'm not going to get that, right? Because Gene could be totally different on Instagram than he could be when he shows up to an appointment. And then you missed the boat there, right? Like, you lost what you had created. And so for me, it is important when people are producing content to be yourself 100%. And they always say, well, why does my lifestyle content get more engagement, right? Like, why do the pictures of me cutting my finger, Greg, like get more views than like something of high value? And the answer is because that's what we initially create connection with. And then all of that other stuff just backs it up, right? It just backs up your awesomeness. But I decide if I like you because of you, not because of your perfectly branded photo shoot where my hair is perfect and I'm like, bending over on like an island. And it's like, don't do that shit in kitchens, right? It's like, stop doing it.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, if that is you, run with it.
For sure.
Run with it 100%.
Also, I want to say this too. Being yourself makes it easier to create content, right? When there's less editing and there's less you fixing the bags under your eyes and changing the way your voice pitches, and like there's just you got to get dressed for certain elements. Like, you guys know me, I'm in a black V-neck just about all the time, except for when I'm working out. So when you see me in something like this, there was probably a workout behind it or coming ahead of it. So that's just kind of who I am. I'm not going to get changed because I'm doing a 2-minute Instagram video. This is what you get. So It makes it. So my point there is that it also makes it easier to create that content quickly when you are just being yourself.
Which makes it less of a production, right? So people don't feel like they can lack consistency, right? Again, the devil word. But consistency typically falls off when we try to overproduce stuff, right? When we try to make it too much of this big production versus, guys, just pick up, like right before we went live, when you did your 30-second intro video, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I tagged it or recorded it and posted it in stories, right? Like, and it was just like, I literally just picked my phone up and didn't even think twice about it. And that's the key, right? Is doing that creates consistency. But when you try to make overly produced videos and you're like, well, I can't post a video unless I get my videographer out here and it's this, and this, you'll lose every time.
I got a question. And let me hold on. We're writing this down in case Nick wants to jump in because he's been quiet for a second. You want to jump in there real quick?
He has been very, very quiet.
Let's get the question.
Okay.
I got some stuff, but I want to, let's get the question.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
You don't have to be snippy about it. Okay.
I'm in between meals, my friend. I'm a little.
Oh, geez, I know you're having a bad day. I'm just breaking your balls. But so going to what Michelle just said, I find. So I do a lot of consulting in the marketing space, right? And I'll sit down with people that need help. Some folks that want to pay me, other people that just go, "I just need your help. Can I bend your ear?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I always talk about how everything in your world has, after you talk to me, I'm going to open your eyes to the fact that everything in your world moving forward is a marketing opportunity, and you have to filter through what the best stuff is for you to put out there, right? So Michelle just said something that made me think. She just picked up her phone. She goes, "I just did it out of habit," right? So like she has reprogrammed her mind that that was a marketing opportunity for her. That countdown that showed up for 7 seconds on her Instagram stories will spark a conversation with somebody that then she might turn into a client or a friend or whatever, right? So I want to ask you guys, because I tell my clients this all the time, how do you create that habit in your people? Like TikTok videos to me are hard. I don't do them, but I know that if I spent 7 minutes on TikTok, I'd be able to create them pretty quickly because I'm savvy like that, right? How do you create that habit where
#humble brag?
Humble brag.
Yeah, shit, right?
Hey, Nick,
I mean, I know I'm not that good looking, but I'm pretty good looking.
I'm good at like 2 things in my life, and technology is one of them. So, you guys can all guess what the other one is. I'll leave that to your imaginations. But how do you make this? Because really, look, what's the difference in what you're doing every day right now versus you being an awesome marketer? I always say to people, you're going to be doing what you do, not just get in the habit of doing this with it and hitting that button, right? Like that's all you're doing differently. You're still doing the every single day stuff, but now you're just kind of recording it for 3 seconds, or you're doing a video, you're taking a quick snapshot. Michelle, I'm putting this out there. I think you'll have an answer for this. How do you get people to create that new habit so that they're doing just what you did? Because more content is one of the keys to being super exposed. So you got to do that more often. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I have a homework assignment I give people, and by the way, guys, I have a hard stop in 7 minutes, just so you know. But
I do too.
I have a homework assignment that I give private clients as well as course students of mine, and I tell them every 2 hours on your phone, set a timer, just like we set timers for like our alarms, right, to wake up in the morning. I don't anymore because I get up at 5 o'clock every morning, regardless. But getting in the habit, setting a timer every 2 hours, no matter what you are doing at that 2 hour mark, you stop and you take a picture of it. I don't care obviously not if you're going to the bathroom, gentlemen. But if you're in the Starbucks line, if you're going to pick up your kids, if you're walking into a new listing, if you're at the dog park, Greg, with your dog, who is very cute, by the way, if you're doing any of that, whatever it is, stop and take a picture of it and get in the habit of adding to the camera roll daily. Right? Another great thing. If you get a text message from a client saying, "Thank you so much for being amazing. This has been quite a ride." Take a freaking screenshot of it, right? And start creating camera roll content so that stories you can start producing 5 to 7 a day, because that is what you should have, right? When people ask me how many stories is good, 5 to 7 per day, every single day, even on the weekends, right? Now, if you're going to post food content, create engagement around it. Like if you're going to a restaurant, ask people to guess where you are, right? No matter what you're posting, if you can create engagement with it in conjunction with the post itself, meaning like the question stickers, the poll stickers, all of that. I had a client yesterday, he produced an engagement post. It literally was Big Green Egg versus the Traeger. He had over 100 comments on his post, literally within the first 4 hours.
Yeah.
Just on that. So timer on your phone is the homework assignment. To go back to Jean's question and be direct about it. Every 2 hours, stop what you're doing, take a picture of it, get in the habit. It's all about flexing the muscle, right? So why do we go to the gym? We go to the gym so that eventually we want to go to the gym. It doesn't feel like a chore. It becomes something that we actually enjoy doing, hopefully. But if you've never been to the gym, those first couple of times are going to be hard. And then it becomes something that is second nature after that.
It will, 100%. Nick, jump in. We do have a question from Joshua, but I want to get your opinions. Michelle, we are looking at a 5-minute bingo. So I want to give her, we'll do about 3 minutes with Nick, and then Michelle, we're going to close you out. And then gentlemen, you and I will keep the show going for a couple more minutes. A couple more comments I want to make. So Nick, thoughts?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot to unpack there, but one thing that I liked that Michelle said is and she mentioned avatar. Greg interrupted me for saying KCM. That's industry jargon. So Michelle didn't get interrupted for saying avatar. It's not a movie, but it's your ideal client, right? So that's marketing jargon for your ideal client.
Yeah.
A lot of times we tend to freeze on video because we're trying to think of the perfect thing to say for all people. So going back to that avatar narrative of knowing exactly who your client is or who exactly you want to attract, it helps a lot in your messaging when you actually turn the camera on to create that video, because you know more of what to say and how to frame it when you know who you're talking to. And I'm a big proponent of video, because video, I like to think that every video you make is a replication of yourself as a salesperson. So if you're a single agent and you're doing everything on your own, every time you make a video, you're replicating yourself. So now you have 20, 30, 50, 80, 100 versions of you out there on the internet selling for you at all times. So it's really powerful. But I'll give you a tip that you can take away from this. One of the best things that you can possibly do for your videos to start getting more attention, and I teach a 4-part blueprint, like a framework on how to actually get more engagement in your video. So it's, instead of having like a script, you have a blueprint. But the first part of that blueprint, and this goes back to advertising, Facebook counts a video view as 3 seconds. So a lot of times I see videos that are being produced on social media or anywhere. The absolute worst thing you can do is go to an introduction, your name, what company you work for, and then just some gibberish. Like, so the first 3 to 5 seconds of your video, you got to create a hook. You got to give people a reason, an immediate reason to listen to the rest of this video. So like, if you're starting off your videos, like say you've listened to Real Estate Uncensored, you follow Michelle, you're like, okay, I'm doing video, and you put out 10 or 20 videos, and it's like every single video, you're not getting any traction. It's probably because you're not creating any kind of hook in the beginning, and you're starting off every video with, hi, my name is Nick Sakis with Keller Williams of the Sakis Group in Tampa, Florida, and I just wanted to come on real quick here and talk to you guys about, I'm already gone.
Okay,
right?
hold on. Hold that. We're going to wait until Michelle's gone. We're going to finish that thought, because I have to admit, I've done a lot of that. I don't mean to overstep you, but we do need to get Michelle out the door to keep her on her time schedule. But then Nick, finish that. Michelle, where can people find you and reach out to you, get into relationship with you in regards to being a part of what you're building? So tell everybody where they can get you.
First of all, Nick, I love what you just said, and I wish I could stay to listen to the rest of you unpack that, because it's so good. Stop opening your videos with Happy Monday also, by the way. But as far as I'm concerned, Instagram is your best bet. Berman Media Social right there on your screen. The Instagram Power Method, thank you. That logo is awesome and big. I love it. But it is the name of my course. My program itself, I will tell you, many of your Real Estate Uncensored counterparts who watch this show have already joined the course, and I love getting to talk to people about it as they join, because they say, oh my gosh, you need to be on Real Estate Uncensored more, like more girl power. And I'm like, I'll tell Greg. But
and it happened.
for sure. But the Instagram Power Method is an 82 video course. It's 82 videos officially as of this morning. 20 plus handout program that is very, very in-depth and very strategy-based. The entire course itself revolves around the psychology of your ideal client. That avatar that Nick very gracefully fixed my problem there to get rid of some of the industry jargon situation. But it really helps you get into that. It really helps you understand that, create custom content for yourself, build that custom content calendar for yourself, and then get all the way through to my favorite module at the very end, which is called DM Like a Boss, which teaches you how to convert in your DMs on Instagram specifically. So the course itself, it's just amazing. I mean, I am the creator of it, so I'm supposed to say that, but really it just is. And people love it. And it's really changed the world of how people create content on Instagram specifically. And I'm super proud of what we've been able to do. And my goal is one real estate agent at a time.
You know what, guys? I met Michelle. She was featured in Realtor Mag, and I reached out to her. Bam, she reached back to me super fast. I know she'll do the exact same thing. She's like a piranha on a piece of meat. She does not let it go. As once she smells the water, she's on it. And so if you guys need some help in regards to Instagram, I guarantee you my left baby pinky, and still focusing on Michelle. And I'm showing them images of my baby pinky. Okay, shut up, Gene. Don't give me that fucking nasty look. Okay. I'm trying to give her a compliment.
pinkies that were busted. Like, what the hell are these analogies you're giving me?
You know what? I think you need
I'm
to
more
just go to
important than your
timeout.
baby.
Gene's gone. He's going to go to timeout for the show. Okay. God.
All right.
Michelle, you're amazing. Thank you for coming on the show, guys. Reach out to her. She will reach back to you. And Michelle, you and I will reconnect a little bit later in the day. Appreciate your time. You're an amazing human being.
Thank you, guys. It was so awesome to see all three of you again. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, you know, girl.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Michelle. All right, Nick, I want to keep running with you because I have rudely cut you off. Now
I don't remember what I was saying.
So I'm going to be like,
rewind the tape.
I was in a trance, and now I'm out of it.
I know you were in a zone, bro. I felt bad. We had to get her out the door. You know what I mean?
I felt like it was going long. I'm glad you cut me off. I know she had to run. So
she had to run.
I didn't know if I wanted to get into it because I knew I was going to be long. But
no, but the thing that you were saying is the fact that I work with another company that starts with a V, and they would always have me start all my videos. Hey, this is Greg McDaniel with the McDaniel Callahan Real Estate Team. Today we're going to be talking about blah 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 blah. Here we go. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds good, but I mean, there were, like you said, there was no hook. It wasn't like, oh shit, people might
think
be
about
losing their
social
phones.
media is like think about movies, right? You're telling a story. This is your story. This is your brand. Like social media is an action film. What happens in action films? They start off out of the gate in a car chase, fucking Tarzan swing. Like what's going on in the first 10 minutes of that action movie to get you hooked? So that's what you have to. The people who are on their phones getting ready to view your content are at a checkout line at a grocery store. They got their kids screaming in the background because they're just picked them up from school. Like you have to give them a reason to say, what's this guy doing? So the first tip is get right into the story. No introduction. Now the introduction type stuff, again, this is where it goes into like what I talk about is the distribution. So having the blueprint and knowing exactly where you're going to have this content distributed will help you think about that idea. So like YouTube, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world to have an introduction because people on YouTube are staying on YouTube longer. If you're trying to do a YouTube style introduction on Instagram in under a minute, you're toast because that's 20 seconds of the video already gone before you've even said anything. So knowing where you're going to put this content really helps. So that said, you got to get right into the story. No introduction. The second biggest tip that I can give you for starting a video is create movement on camera. So if you've noticed when you watch people online, if they're walking and talking, like that's one of the best things you can possibly do because it creates movement and you're bringing people on a journey, right? You're not just talking at them. So we can get into like neurolinguistics of like, if you hold your phone equal to you, that should be a thing. That means that I'm talking to you. If I'm looking at you right now, so Greg is a little bit lower. Gene's kind of even. The way that I have my camera set up is even. We're very much even. If I was up above, which is usually the fat man or fat lady way to do Instagram or whatever to get rid of that double chin, that puts you beneath the audience, right? If you want to feel like you're talking down to people, put the phone below you, like Gene's famous video or photo of like, I'm the best, right?
No. It's funny you say that. I actually have a really good video walking down the street of the best way to communicate. And while I'm walking with the phone down and I go, there's one thing you need to do while you're doing your videos. And it's this. And I raise the phone eye level while I'm doing it. And I go, just looking at me, it's a different
perspective. Different perspective. So create movement on camera, right? So walking and talking is one of the best things you can do. Or if you're really inviting people into a story, like let's do a listing video, right? You just got this new listing. How do you create a story around a new listing? Well, instead of saying, hi, my name's Nick Sakis with Keller Williams of the Sakis Group, and we sell real estate in Tampa, Florida. Today, I want to bring you this new listing in 1234 East Lake Oaks Drive, right? Already gone. How about instead of that, you take your phone and you walk from the front door to the kitchen and you sit down and you put your phone. So now you're taking people on a journey. You're walking through the front door and you're saying, the other day I was just talking to a friend who was looking for a pool home in this neighborhood. And guess what? And then now you sit down and now we're having a conversation. You just invited them into the house. You've taken 10 seconds to walk through the door. As you're talking, you put the phone on the tripod. Now you're sitting at the kitchen table with them. You've brought them into the house in 10 seconds, right? If you've been looking for a pool home, I got to tell you, we'll get to that in just a second. Now you've created a reason for them to stay. If they want to see this pool, they're going to stay to the end of the video, right? So because you're in the kitchen, so now you're bringing them on a story. We know, and this is like really real estate related. You can do this with anything, right? But in this neighborhood right now, there's only 3 houses for sale, and this is one of them. The only house in this market with a pool home. So if you guys have been looking for a pool house, you got to pay attention to what we got going on here. And I'm going to show you this pool house in just a second. We know also, and you can get into the solution. So like the hook is within the first 10 seconds. You ignite the pain. Like, what are they looking for? I know that this person's looking for a pool home. What's your solution? You have this listing for sale, and or you could do a custom list of homes of other houses that have pool homes as well, right? So get the hook, invite them into the story, ignite the pain. What exactly, who are you talking to? That's where we talk about that avatar. So if you have the idea, if you know that you got a new listing and you want to create a little 1-minute video, who's the person that's going to buy this, right? The solution is this listing, but if the listing is already sold, or you're at an open house and you have 25 people lined up, like, hey, we can find you a home in this neighborhood because we are networking with 400 other agents. Like, what's your solution to their problem? So the hook, the ignite the pain, the solution, and then the call to action. Those 4 parts, the call to action is tell them what to do. That's missing from 99% of people's videos. So if I were to take those 4 things, people are usually pretty good at igniting pain, right? They're usually pretty good at describing what they're trying to do on the video, and they're okay at describing the solution. What is the solution to this pain that this person has? What they're terrible at is the hook in the beginning, creating movement on camera, inviting people into a story, and the call to action. You have to tell people exactly what to do and why they should do it. It's the grunt test. If I look at your marketing, and same thing goes with like websites. If I go to your website and I don't know exactly what you're trying to get me to do, book an appointment, then I'm lost. I'm bouncing off. I don't know what's going on. Am I searching for 100 homes in all these different subdivisions, or am I booking an appointment with you for you to help guide me on this tour, right? So right. The call to action on the video should be very specific at the end. Call me at my phone number or whatever, like, and I will give you access to this house. Like, that's a very specific call to action. It's not just call me for your real estate needs. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
If you want access to this house, if you want to see this pool, if you want to swim naked in this jacuzzi, call my cell phone, right?
Well, so what is your cell phone? Because that does sound tantalizing.
Yeah. But those 4 parts, especially the beginning, like that hook, that initial, like 3 to 15 seconds of a video makes or breaks on social media. It's one of the most important things, one of the most important aspects, and getting ready to get ready on the video. Yeah, Gene's calling me right now.
Pick it up. Pick it up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard something about swimming naked in a jacuzzi.
Yeah. That's after this show. So once we get finished up, I'll send you a plane ticket.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, see you. But think about it. You get frustrated. You get frustrated on social media because you finally get the courage to do a video. Like, I've been listening to Greg and Gene talk about video for 5 years, and I still haven't done anything. And then you finally get the courage to do a video, and then nobody responds to the video, and you go, well, I just can't do this. Like, it just doesn't work for me, right? And so Gene always talks about having at bats. I talk about having at bats. You got to practice more. But if you have a formula, if you know every time you turn the camera, like, how am I going to get people interested within the first 3 seconds? We have this like weird, like, do as I say, not as I do. Like, we think that people are going to watch 3 minutes of our video because it's us, and we will watch 3 minutes of our own video. But I promise you, people are only going to give you 3 to 5 seconds of the sniff test. So that first block, those first couple of words that you say are like uber important.
Gene, you want to talk about, and you got to bounce, you get small humans.
No. I actually have a client meeting 10 minutes ago, but she texted me and said, I'm in the waiting room. I have stuff to do. So if you're late, don't worry about it. But I got to get there. But I have to get there though.
So let's talk tacos, bro.
All right. So I want to put this on the table for the 2 of you, but I need you to agree to something first. One is, if you get the gig, that I get a $10,000 finder's fee, and I need to make some guest appearances somehow. Both agree?
Well, if it's $100,000 and you want a 10% fee, yeah, fine with me, not a problem. I'll even fly you out in economy class to wherever we're going.
Why did you say $100,000? Because that's actually the number.
Because you said 10%, you want 10,000.
Oh, I did. I say both things, Nick. I don't hear.
I didn't hear $100,000. I didn't.
He didn't. No, he just that was pretty good. I don't know how he did that. I don't think I gave enough info.
It's fucking called math.
No, I don't think I gave you enough information to do that math, but we'll have to go back and rewind the tape. But Nick, do I have your agreement on that?
Yes.
All right. So McCormick's, who's a company that does all your taco seasoning and everything, apparently is hiring a taco czar. And
czar?
Czar, yeah. And so what it is basically is it's a job where you're supposed to troll TikTok, find out all the latest and greatest things about tacos. 90% of it is working remotely. 10% is them getting you to places that have the best tacos and the best chefs so you can do reviews and shit. You got to be all over social media with it. It's a 4-month gig and they're paying $25,000 a month.
Yeah.
So $10,000 finder's fee for both of you, and I better be eating some tacos with one of you, just in case you go on. If you Google McCormick's Tacos Are, there's actually an online form. You got to do a 2-minute video to say why you should be hired and all this stuff. So I'm thinking about a couple angles. I might try to do it myself. How funny would that be? But if you guys are going to do it, I want in.
Well, since you've now broadcasted it, Nick and I are going to get $10,000 just for listening fees.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You know.
Nope.
I like I like the title of Tacos Are. I mean,
can you imagine the
nice.
National Tacos Are?
That is nice.
Get tacos for life, taco seasoning for life on that. That is amazing. But think about where that can go in regards to your marketing. You're the pizza czar, the taco czar, the ribs czar, the beer czar, the dog park czar, the
look at Barstool Sports. Look at what Dave Portnoy did. What goes hand in hand with betting and sports? Everybody orders pizza and beer. So you want to talk about the strategy of a lifetime. He's the pizza review guy now. After what? Forever. It's been 4 years, 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what did his company just go public for? He's probably made $100 million.
Yep.
But it was based on he got most of his attention. I haven't followed him from day one, but I would venture to say most of his attention recently has been around the pizza review thing. And he you want to talk about somebody taking content seriously? That was it. He's the guy now for that. So what can you do in your market that makes you the guy or the gal, right? I've talked to Greg about this before. There's a guy on YouTube that does car reviews. His name's Doug DeMiro. You've probably heard of him, right? He started off as a blogger. There's all these car channels on YouTube that go super viral. People love to watch car reviews, right?
Yep.
There's not one person that I've ever seen at a high level doing an equally as quality good video review of houses in their market, like a car review video. So if you want to get some inspiration, go on YouTube and look up Doug DeMiro, Redline Reviews, TFL Truck. There's 5 or 6 of them. They're media companies and all they do is car reviews. They all have blueprints. They all have 20-minute style videos. They give scores and everything. It's all broken down. You could do the same thing with what's your avatar in your market. Do you want to be a luxury home specialist? Go do a review on every luxury home that hits the market. That's enough content for you for the whole year. Pick out a neighborhood. Every listing that goes live, you don't have a buyer. You just go there with your cell phone and you preview the property and you do unique video content about that property that puts you as the luxury guy, because when people log into Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, you're inside luxury properties talking different things, different unique things, right? Give it a score, make it a game. You guys saw with my weight loss for the past year, I created monthly score charts that. Nobody did that for me. I created my own score chart for my weight loss. Create your own score chart on how to review a house in your neighborhood for your ideal farm and get people excited around it. Right?
Dude, I just came up with a fucking awesome idea. And I do have a rubber arm and I am patting myself on my back. But Nick, you just spawned this idea. The dog parks, they have all these dog park balls, which are fucking disgusting, right? But you can go to Chewy and get these squeaky balls, they're called Kong balls, and you can get branded tennis balls for cents on the dollar. So you could do a dog ball rating of every dog park. So, we have 1 out of 10, dog ball rating on this dog park. There was too much sand. There wasn't enough grass. It was too small, too crowded. Out of 10, I'm going to give this yard 2 balls. And then you throw the balls into the dog park.
So now you have a rating system. People can reference that. And now you have your own rating system. And that is what can be shared, right? Because if you do something like that, if you create that, people take ownership of that and they agree with you on your perspective. We talked about that. Now, the balls are. Drew Fox said the balls are. There you go.
Greg was always
sweaty balls. But so you create your unique perspective. Balls. People agree with that perspective, and then that's how they share. Because when they take ownership of your brand and your message, and they agree with you, that's when people share content. Because they only share stuff that they want to look good in sharing. So if your content's about me, and look how good I am, like Michelle said, you're constantly showing that you sold 4, 5, 6 houses. That's great. How does that benefit the person watching? It doesn't. So how can you create that, right? And so here's the other thing. If your brain's exploding, Michelle said 5 to 7 stories a day. That makes my head hurt. I'm an introvert by heart. So I just wanted to say this for everybody who's still on this show. If you get sweaty palms just thinking about creating that much content, if you're an introvert and you're not going to create that much content, then you really need to have a media plan. You need to have a ad strategy, because that's where a guy like Gene or me can come in and take 2 hours of your day in a month and create a whole strategy of unique content for the whole month and post that as actual ads. So you don't have to do the 5 to 7 videos per day on Instagram. You can have ads running, you pay for your time. So you have a ton of time to do all this stuff organically every single day, or you have an ad strategy in place that saves you the time. You create blocks of content, and then you have those ads running at all times. So that's what I specialize in. I know that's what Gene specializes in. You don't have to do that content every single day. Go ahead.
I got to run, but I would like to leave with a mic drop. And that is, Greg, if you create a YouTube channel where it's you reviewing balls, I will be your first subscriber. I'll see you boys next week.
Gene, you know where I live. That could go many different ways. But we do have Kyle Draper in the room, guys. Give him a like, a follow, and a myth This man is a fucking a myth and a legend of a human. Just
make sure you follow his TikTok. He's trying to get famous on TikTok now, from what I saw.
And he's got a pink fanny pack. So check.
He's got a rivalry with another buddy. I don't know the other guy, but they're trying to get more TikTok views.
All right, Nick, we should wrap this thing up. We've gone 1 hour and 2 minutes, a little bit long, but you know what? Such good content. We have amazing people in the audience listening and watching. I'm getting a lot of private DMs right now. They're like, what does your dog look like? So I've downloaded a couple of photos. This is Sir Rupert Pupperton. He and I are at the dog park. He got that tongue hanging out. He's ready to rock and roll, but he can't go to the dog park if he's not going to carry his own shit. Okay. He's got to carry his own lunch when he goes to school. End of story. Anyways, Nick, let's figure out how in the hell people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so a couple different ways. If you want to join my Facebook group, go just search for Real Estate is a Joke. It is a little bit of a play on words. We are very serious about what we do, but the reason that name came to is because I see so many agents just floundering all the time with their marketing and their content. So that's where we came Real Estate is a Joke. It's a great place. We do interviews. Like to get more people in there. If you'd like more information on our blueprint, on my media marketing system, how I help people take their message and then amplify it with advertising, go to getamplifiedmarketing.com to book a call with me, not a sales rep or third-party person. You will actually talk to me. So I look forward to helping anybody out that I can.
There it is, guys. Getamplifiedmarketing.com. We have that handsome man right there. Truly appreciate and love you, my friend. Since Gene always makes fun of my voice right now, I'm so glad that you're the only one here left at the end of the show. Guys, we have a pack that is growing from a small pack to a large pack in regards to kind of what we're growing with EXP. Our EXP is growing. We are approaching almost 200 members around the world and growing quickly. We have also launched a trucking side of our industry when we partnered with Clever Lead, spelled with a K, where we can move your clients at a 70% discount all across the nation. So a lot of good stuff that's coming down the line. So if you guys like what we have going on here, please give us a like, follow, subscribe. Please tag Nick. Please tag Gene. Please tag Michelle Berman and anybody else in here that has brought value to your lives. Matt couldn't be here, but go download his book, Micro Famous. Phenomenal book. I always make fun of him for it, but it is a phenomenal book.
He's washing cars today, right? He's backed up.
He's what?
He's washing cars today, right? He's backed up on a schedule.
I have no idea what he's doing. He won't talk to me outside of the show. I feel banished and I'm ashamed. But
awesome book, though. Yeah, you definitely have to download it.
Definitely have to download it. Nick, since you are the remaining last soldier,
I get
you
3
need
colors.
to pick. Huh?
I get 3 colors.
All right, let's do 3 colors. Go.
Right? So we got, I think Michelle's, I'm trying to go on brain here. I think Michelle's logo was turquoise. So I'll give her turquoise. Right? We'll give Gene, I'm still going to go with red for Gene because every time I see him now, I'm going to think of the sauce that he was making the other day.
Okay.
It made my mouth water, right? And then I'm going black as night. Like I said, today's been one of those days where everything I've touched is broken. So I'm going with black. It's darkness.
A dark-hearted man.
Yeah.
All right, guys and gals, thank you so much for listening and watching the Real Estate Uncensored Marketing Roundtable. Guys, we cannot do this show without you, literally. Please go to anywhere you guys watch and listen to any podcast or listen to podcasts and give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review. It helps the algorithm kick it up so that they will show it to other people who need to hear this information. It's not me that's the smartest person. It is Nick. It is Gene. It is our guest. It is Matt. It is the whole cadre of amazing human beings that I surround myself with. We are going to put a turquoise. I'm going to say that again. We're going to put a turquoise, we're going to put a red, and we're going to put a black heart, just like Matt's tiny little black heart and how Matt and Nick is having a black-hearted day.
That's right.
But you guys, we love you to pieces. Thanks so much. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.